CO of the 4-8, Lieutenant Gibson, Richie Gibson, who's the commander of the detective squad right here in the 4-8, Chief Jason Wilcox, the commander of all Bronx detectives, and Larry Nakunin, two-star chief in charge of every precinct in the Bronx on the patrol side. So Wednesday evening into Thursday, as you're aware, we had the tragic incident of the 15-year-old that was brutally murdered, well documented and released on social media, unfortunately for the world to see. What a tragedy. As we stand here today, the investigation is ongoing. It's still a fluid investigation, but literally as we speak, we've just, in this building, made an 8th arrest regarding this incident. That person will be prosecuted for murder. That brings the total that 6 that have now, we learn, have waived extradition, will be returning to the Bronx sometime tomorrow to face charges for this brutal act, and 2 in the Bronx where the arrests were made. As I said, this investigation is not over. The brutal nature of this crime, we will leave literally no stone unturned until we make sure that we get justice, that we make sure that everyone involved in this incident are brought to justice. And we want to send a clear message, and I couldn't be happier that the Bronx DA is standing with me today, that we will not tolerate thugs on the streets of the Bronx, whether it's Trinitarios or any other gang, involved in behavior of this sort. We have an ample amount of resources. We will prosecute them through the state. We will prosecute them through the federal authorities. We have detectives in our gang units, our patrol officers, our NCUs. We have a unified focus that we will not tolerate gang activity, particularly anything as heinous as this crime. My heart goes out to the entire family. As we stand here today making an 8th arrest, unfortunately that's going to do little to comfort the family. Does so?
Thank you, Chief Shea, and good afternoon. First and foremost, I want to offer my sympathy and condolences to the family of Lesandro Felix Guzman, known as Junior. We are working to bring justice for Junior and for his family. As was stated, this is an ongoing investigation with fast-paced developments. Of course, I cannot comment on the nature of the investigation, but I do have my Homicide Bureau, my Investigations Division, my Gang Bureau, all working seamlessly with Bronx homicide detectives on the murder of Lesandro Felix Guzman. So far, one defendant has been arraigned. That was Kevin Alvarez yesterday, and he was arraigned on murder, manslaughter, gang assault, and other assault charges. He was remanded, meaning there was no bail set, and he is due back in Bronx Supreme Court on Friday. 6 other suspects were arrested in New Jersey, and they have all waived extradition, so they will now be brought back to New York to the Bronx Criminal Court tomorrow to be arraigned on those same charges as Alvarez. And I'm working right now with the courts to facilitate that process so that as well can be seamless. As stated, there is a defendant presently under arrest, an 8th defendant here in the Bronx by the name of Elvin Garcia. He is due to be arraigned later today, also on the murder, manslaughter, and other related charges. This investigation will continue and will be presented to a Bronx grand jury. I'm asking the public and the community to please be patient with us as we continue to investigate. We are leaving no stone unturned, and please let the criminal justice process take its course. We are ready, willing, and able to make sure that justice is done. I want to thank the community for their help. We in law enforcement need your assistance to fight the violence that sadly and tragically has been increasing in the Bronx in the last few weeks. We will not tolerate shootings, stabbings, or anything that is continuing to devastate our community. Again, we're working together. We have the resources, all law enforcement, state, federal, and city, to make sure that justice is done and the Bronx community remains safe. Thank you.
We'll answer a few questions on topic.
Chief, what does the NYPD know about this Notorious gang? What is the department doing to stop them?
Yep. Well, in recent years, even this year, just a couple months ago, there was a gang takedown in Queens regarding this gang. This gang is not new to us. We're very familiar with how they operate. Let me just be very clear. We will leave, as the DA said, no stone unturned. We have ample resources to deal with anyone that wishes to engage in this activity. You are going to swiftly learn that it is a no-win situation. If you flee to Patterson, if you flee to Wyoming, we will get you. We are going to vigorously investigate any crimes that are really affecting the great people of the Bronx and throughout this city, and zero tolerance.
They started it poorly. Now the manager, whether he goes down the tunnel or not, the fact is, these teams got there.